We are hearing from Spencer Pratt for the first time since he lost the LA mayoral primary.
Instead of a concession speech, the reality TV personality released this video.
I'm going to be lighting you up every single day. I don't have a campaign laws hamstringing me now. It's war.
Pratt said that he's going to stay active in local politics, but much of the video consists of him painting in L.A. As a negative place to live and name-calling the two candidates who advanced, Mayor Karen Bass and Councilmember Nithya Raman. He also claims to have a recording that would cause one of them to resign.
There's an ultra-luxury market in Nashville, the $4 million home sales. They are exploding higher, 45% more home sales, over $4 million than we did last year at this time. And Spencer Pratt warns us what will happen if he lost.
You can watch your social group erode as your friends move to Nashville or Miami or Austin.
And I actually think that this is distorting Nashville's metrics so much so that you can have an all-time high in the median price, and at the same time, we can see a buyer's market, even for homes in the $4 million range. In fact, if a home stays on the market more than 10 days, the average discount is 5% off list. That's $200,000. And if it goes 90 days, we're talking 10%, $400,000. This is a trend. It's accelerating in Nashville, but it's happening nationally right now. People that have assets, the wealth divide, they're able to buy more and more and more. And so what we're seeing, this was a Redfin article, came out yesterday. Nobody paid attention to it. You're not going to hear about it from anybody on YouTube because nobody wants to talk about the median price hitting an all-time high. How can that even make sense? It's because there is a segment of the market that is able to buy more and more and more and more. What we're seeing is a shift that continues shift up the ladder in price bands. And so what you have in Nashville, Redfin will say that the median price is hitting an all-time high. My data shows the median price is hitting an all-time high. Even though more people are buying and they're spending more money, home values aren't necessarily going up. In fact, a lot of home values are dropping, and that's why they're capturing a negative home value trend while Redfin is capturing increasing trend. So let's just look in the $4 million market. Is this just distorting the market? I mean, what is happening here? $4 million, this is almost 10 times the median, and yet we are seeing more purchases year to date than we've ever seen in Nashville in this price band. If you bucketed it between $4 and $8 million, what you would see is every single price band has more sales in it. We are seeing a wealth migration wave due to what's happening in California, due to what's happening in Washington. There's a wealth migration wave, and they're bringing their money to Nashville, Tennessee. Does this mean that home values are going up in the $4 million range? And that's where, if we look at the price per foot last year versus this year, year to date, so we're just going to take all the sales last year versus all the sales this year, what you will see is that there's only a small segment in the 6 to 8 million that has dropped on a price per foot basis. The people spending more are actually spending more per foot. There's a 4 to 5% appreciation year over year happening in this market. Now, if you talk to builders, they may disagree on this. The reason they may disagree on this is because supply has never been higher. 260 active listings where more and more people are buying. So you have a lot of builders that are feeling pain. Prices may be going up year over year when you look at price per foot. But if we look at price cuts, a huge chunk of price cuts in the Nashville market are hidden by relisting. Now, when you relist a property, not only does it not show a price cut if they've cut their price, but it also resets the days on market. You have a lot of hidden relists that will reset the days on market and not show that they're actually cutting the price. You should not be afraid to ask for a discount, okay? Believe it or not, any house that's been sitting on the market for 90 days or more will typically take an offer it's about 10% less. In fact, anything over 90 days, you should be getting at least 8% off. There's plenty of examples of this. One other thing that I think is crazy, these $4 million sales, a lot of times they don't even come with a lot of land anymore, which is mind-blowing for people that are in Tennessee. And a lot of people want to spend $4 million on a house, and they don't want to maintain a huge farm. They want to spend $4 million on a nice house with nice finishes in a great location, surrounded by great people. We are actually at a much tighter supply in the $4 million plus range. But you still got a 13-month supply. So, you got to expect that it'll sit 12 to 18 months, but it's actually supply-wise a lot tighter relative to the demand out there than it was last year, even though we have record inventories. Pretty wild to watch that. I also think Compass impacts this. So Compass has a lot of off-market listings. They may be manipulating the active listing to demand ratio as well. So it's not necessarily super clear to me that we have the same inventories we had in 2024. But what is clear to me is that Spencer Pratt is right. There's a massive amount of people coming to Nashville. It is pushing up the median price, which almost makes aggregate metrics, which I use a lot, it makes them much less helpful. We've got active listings in Nashville hitting an all-time post-COVID high in inventory. Contract volume still up year over year. We're going to sell more homes this year, but it still feels softer in a lot of places. That's why it's really important to hone in on very specific areas, use data that can back up or support what you are going for. Because if it's a new build or an existing home, that makes a difference. If it's a condo or a single family home, that makes a difference. If you're in the $750,000 to $1 million price range, that is a very different home than if you're in the $2 million plus or the $300,000 to $500,000. And we're seeing inventory. We're seeing sellers based on location and price range and type all do different things. You really need to hone in on where it is and what it is you're trying to buy if you're trying to move to Nashville. But I will tell you that there is a wealth migration, and it is only picking up steam. It was much stronger in the first half of this year. And based on what's happening with Washington and California, I expect that it will only pick up steam for the next 12, 24 months unless something changes. Why do you think Tennessee makes the top of the list? Why is it that when people discuss migrating and leaving California or Washington, Nashville ends up being one of the top 3 places people choose? I'd love to hear from you. Leave it in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next Saturday. Have a great weekend.